Alright, welcome to another fantastic draft. In this pack, we have, again, very few options, thanks Moto. Phyrexian Metamorph is the card that I'm going to take. It goes into every deck, it's extremely versatile. Tooth and Nail is a cool first pick. Lightning Bolt, obviously very good, but, Lightning Bolt, it would be my second consideration, but like I said, I don't like to commit to one color, especially first pick, when I have something powerful like a Metamorph I could take instead. Alright, so for my next pick, I'm not actually blue, but being blue definitely is appealing when you have Metamorph. And Impulse is good. I don't like Thassa too much. I think that it's just too hard to get her online. But yeah, I would take Impulse over Thassa. I don't think that she does enough anyway, unless you're like a blue aggro deck, which is basically unheard of. Dismember is pretty solid though. No matter what color I go, I'm gonna play it. I'm basically starting the game at 14, but between that and Metamorph. Fyndhorn Elves is also pretty good. There are a lot of effects like that, so I'm not sure if I want to take one right now. Although Fyndhorn Elf into Orin Viper is a pretty strong start. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with Dismember. There's a few good green cards. I'm not going to pick Deathcloud second pick without something very good with it first pick. Yeah, I'll just take Dismember, keep my options open. Alright, so I do have options. If I want to go black, which, as much as I want to be blue because I have Metamorph, I want to be black because I have Dismember. I have Skin Render, Black Sun Zenith, both of which are pretty good, and Watery Grave, which, if I'm blue or black, if I'm both, that's awesome. If I'm one or the other, it'll at least save me a little bit of life. Remand is also extremely good. So, yeah, basically it's between Remand, Skin Render, Watery Grave, and Black Sun Zenith. And I want to take Remand. I guess my plan would be to go blue-black, and then if I take Remand, I'm basically guaranteed to table one of the three black cards, the Dual Land or Teferi. So, also Remand is pretty good. It's not exactly Time Walk, but sometimes it can feel like it. Okay, so I still haven't actually picked my second color. I'd prefer to be black, which would draw me to Night's Whisper, but I don't necessarily have to be. So I'm actually looking at Izzet Charm. Obviously, Negate is better if you're trying to counter non-creature spells, but Izzet Charm has a lot of versatility. It kills a lot of guys. One of the best decks on the online is the mono red deck, and this will counter a turn 3 Vortex, or kill one of their early plays, or probably one of their late plays, like Hero of Oxid Ridge or Keldon Champion, something like that. So yeah, I'm just going to take that because I think it's one of the strongest cards in the pack, and I like blue-red as a color combination in this cube. Alright, so Tamiyo is pretty good. I think that she goes down in value when you take Time Walk out of the cube, because that was my favorite combo. That's not true. I like way too many combos. Like Gamble and Firebolt combos. Anyway, I think Tamiyo is definitely just better than Mana Leak. Rishon Import would be another consideration, or Endemir Aqueduct, but basically, I'm going to take Tamiyo and hope that Mana Leak, Port, Aqueduct, Rager, one of those table, if maybe Palladium or Firebolt. But there's a lot in that pack that should come back. So, Sakashima Student, I haven't really played with it at all or seen it played. It seems like it could be cool, but I don't know. It's probably just going to be super unimpressive. So instead, basically my options would then be Smother if I want to go black, Repeal if I don't, which I don't. Jushi Apprentice. I think I'm going to go with Repeal and try to be like an instant speed kind of deck, maybe Teferi will table. That would be pretty cool. Okay, so now there's nothing that's blue. Pretty poor quality black cards, and Azorius Chancery. I'm not locked in on being red. Bounce lines, you get blown out by something like the Port that we saw, or the Molten Rain that we saw, or the Sinkhole that we saw, and a number of other cards, but I'm going to take it. It's basically card advantage, which is something the blue deck always wants. And then I'm really not a fan of Deep Anal. Fact. I'm just going to take Caracas and I guess move into white. It's not really necessarily open, but I like Caracas. You know, even if I'm not blue, even if I'm not white, I'll play Caracas. It's better than something like Gul'Daraz's Assassin or whatever. It goes in any deck. Even if I'm just blue and I get like a Venser or a Vendilion Clique, it becomes very strong. If I do go white, Condemn's not the worst. Tectonic Edge, pretty good against Azorius Chancery. Relic cycles, but you know, like I said, the deck that I want to beat is the mono red deck, so I'm going to take Condemn. And Impulse tabled, and so did Sulphur Falls. So I'm going to play Impulse, you know, no matter what if I take it. Sulphur Falls lets me play as a charm, but now I might be blue-white. Maybe I'm blue-white-red. I'm going to take the Impulse. It goes along with my whole instant speed thing, which is helped out by Teferi. It doesn't look like I'm going to be black. So, yeah, Teferi is... If your plan is to leave all your mana open at the end of every turn, Teferi is the way to go. Even though Tamiyo isn't. Alright, so I could take this Mantling Blow. I don't really like disenchant effects. They are better when you have a sideboard, but I think I'm going to take the Mog War Marshal. And then Dimir Aqueducts. Basically, I took the War Marshal. It's a huge speed bump for aggro decks. Or Win Condition. I don't like Manatithe or Halimar Depths, but I will play Depths. I guess Manatithe probably not going to make it. And then Merciless Eviction, which pretty safe to say I'm not going to play, but I don't know. If I wind up being blue-white or blue-black, you know, I'm going to have fixing one way or the other with the bounce lands, maybe something else, so it's a possibility that I'll play it. But now we just wait for all these idiots to make their last picks, which it can be tough, you know. You have to choose between two of the crappiest cards ever printed in Magic and be like, well, which would I be less embarrassed to play? Okay, so if we're going for that tap out strategy, there's really nothing that applies here. So I'm going to take the Gilded Lotus. Basically, it's between Gilded Lotus. I like Basalt Monolith, but if I'm going for this tap out thing, or sorry, not tapping out thing, you know, instant speed, counter and draw and Teferi and whatnot, you know, I could tap out 4 Gilded Lotus, and, you know, unless they do something instant speed, leave open counter magic mana. I could take Serum Visions, but it's, you know, I could think of 3 better 1 mana blue cards that are in this cube. You know, Brainstorm, Preordain, Ponder, I think are all better, but alright. Now that I took Gilded Lotus, Ravages of War is pretty appealing. If I'm going like instant speed stuff, Talrand I have not played, but he seems cool. Not cool enough though. I think Aetherling is just better if I want a finisher. I think that Cascade Bluffs or Floodplain would be the mana fixing. I would probably go with Cascade Bluffs at this point. Yeah, I mean, Aetherling is just in... If it's in a powered cube, I think that Aetherling loses a lot of value because the decks are stronger, but because everyone's just playing crap, Aetherling, it's, you know, basically as good as it is in Standard. That is to say, it is unbeatable, especially if you go, Teferi, end of their, turn 5 or whatever. You go Teferi into Aetherling at the end of the next turn. Yeah, Teferi is one of my favorite cards. It feels like you just have a, warm blanket, basically. Never safer than when you have a Teferi in play. Alright, so Mystical Tutor is awesome. Grim Monolith is awesome. I would like Volcanic Island and Factor Fiction also. I like Mystical Tutor a lot, but since I don't have anything too impressive to get with it yet, I think I'm going to go with the Factor Fiction. Maybe Mystical Tutor, the Dual Land, or the Grim Monolith Table. I doubt it. But worst case scenario, I'll get like a Sphere of the Suns. I mean, worst case scenario, I get nothing, but I'm probably not going to get anything. Okay. So, flashing in Glenalinja Archmage off Teferi is pretty cool. Having a Metamorph copy Archmage is pretty cool. Jace is nice. I mean, obviously. A blue card is probably going to table, which is awesome. Or Shivan Reef, or Maze of Ith. Like, I'm going to get something out of this pack. I mean, there's only... I want more cards than... There are more cards I want than cards I don't. I'm going to take the Archmage. Yeah, I'm going to take the Archmage because it's a card that's annoying against Teferi. Just because, they can still counter your stuff when you have a Teferi in play, which is not cool. Cryptic Command is the obvious choice here. I mean, I could very well be mono blue. Academy Ruins, I don't have anything yet, and Oust is okay. Maybe that'll come back. But yeah, I wouldn't play any of these other cards. Undermine maybe if I end up being black, but definitely Cryptic Command. I mean, Cryptic Command's insane. It's just the mana cost is restrictive. If you can cast it, though, more power to you. So Spell Pierce, that seems like a counterspell that I would want. But I'm really not that in love with it. I mean, I already have Is a Charm, which is, for an extra red mana, much better. Although I guess I might not play it. I think I want Everflowing Chalice. It's kind of the same thing as Gilded Lotus. If I have, say, 3 lands in play, on turn 3, I can play this and still have Remand mana open. Maybe I'll get another counterspell. Who knows? Maybe I'll get Spell Pierce back. No one takes that card. Probably because it's not very good. Okay, so now I have to make a choice. I'm not going to take Revelark, although it is cool with the Archmage. It's basically a mana fixing thing. So I could take Bad River, and if I don't get a dual land, it's an island that comes into play tapped. That's pretty poor. I could take Mystic Gate, which I like the most out of all these lands because they come into play untapped. But since I don't know if I'm going to be white or black yet, I'm going to take the Arcane Sanctum. Not only that, if I end up being blue-white, then I could still use the black to cast Dismember and not kill myself. Speaking of killing yourself, you ever play against opposition? Alright, so I'm not really built for opposition, but I mean, maybe I can change that in the upcoming packs. I mean, hey, Mog War Marshal, that's pretty good. I could just go pretty deep with War Marshal and Metamorph and... Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just... The other 2 cards are pretty lackluster. I'm going to take Basalt Monolith here. I really like it. Serum Visions is okay, but... I want to be able to, say, cast Opposition and then have Counterspell open. Or cast Aetherling. Cast Aetherling with blue mana open on turn 4. Alright, so now I'm just going to take Floodplain. Oh, Mystical Tutor came back. I still don't have any. I mean, I can get Fact or Fiction, Cryptic Command, but I mean, I'm just gonna take it and hope maybe I get like an upheaval or something, or like a balance. Oh, this is why I can be mono blue. It's very rare you get to be mono blue because it's the best color in the cube. So well, maybe not this cube, but generally it's the best color in the cube, so everyone wants to be it. I guess if we're going opposition, I want this Efreet. I think Jace is a better card, but I'm going to take that. And now we have Oust or Academy Ruins. Yeah, I'm going to just take Academy Ruins. I mean, there's a slim chance that I'm going to be white. If there is, though, I'll take the Disenchant. So, let's see. Right now I have... Right now I would play all of these cards. That's not good. So I definitely need a few playables. Yeah, by the way, these fetch lands are not the best. That's why I'm getting them so late. I mean, if you have dual lands, sure. If you have shock lands, okay, but on their own they're just pretty miserable. You know, compare this to Polluted Delta. They're just better options for mana fixing. Speaking of better options, not playing Magic Online. Oh, here we go. Okay. Oh, jeez. Alright, so I know I mentioned some of my favorite combos before. Wake Thrasher and Basalt Monolith is awesome. I love it. If you don't know how it works, basically, Wake Thrasher says whenever a permanent you control becomes tapped, it gets +1/+1. With Basalt Monolith, you pay 3 to tap it, or sorry, you tap it for 3, use that 3 to untap it, and you just tap it. You don't gain anything, but if you have Wake Thrasher out, it gets infinitely big, and you just kill them. So that's good, obviously, right? So, you know, Condescend, I think I'm basically mono blue at this point. So I'm going to take the Wake Thrasher. It might not be the strongest card in the pack, but, you know, I have opposition, so it can just put a clock on someone, which is actually something you really want. If you're, I'm not actually, it doesn't look like I'm going to be that leave all your mana open kind of deck anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to take the Wake Thrasher. Now, what's really cool is if you have a Spellskite into Wake Thrasher, into Basalt Monolith, because then your combo is pretty hard to disrupt. I mean, Spellskite takes a bullet for Wake Thrasher or Monolith. Plus it taps stuff down with opposition. So, you know, I could... Cryptologist or Looter, those are both okay. The Disc, I have some artifact mana, so I'm not thrilled if I have to play that, but if I had Tinker, Sundering Titan would be cool, although I don't have too many artifacts. I have artifacts, just not enough. So I'm going to take the Spellskite. Alright, so now I want to get someone so dirty. You know, got my Basalt Monolith, got my Morph face down, I play Wake Thrasher, I attack. Oh, you take it, you're dead. Is that likely to happen? I think what's more likely to happen is I'll cast Nightveil Spectre, and that'll be good enough. Alright, so Ponder is what I'm looking at right now. I think Tidings is too expensive. Forbid is so good, though. If you haven't played against Forbid, you should do it sometime. It's super annoying. I could take Hollowed Fountain. I have 3 ways to get it. That would make a white splash really easy, but for Condemn and Disenchant, it's not worth it. Someone's gonna have a pretty cool Tinker deck. Sundering Titan. Yeah, I'm just gonna... I think because I'm, you know, I have all these 3-drops, I'm going to be less of a tap-out. I'm going to be more of a tap-out deck. I'm just going to take the Ponder. We've made the transition into Sorcery Speed. Maybe Tidings Forbid, Battlesphere, or Fountain Table. Okay, so Frost Titan is a pretty good finisher. Ancient Tomb. Ancient Tomb is okay. If I go mono blue, I mean, most of the stuff, Cryptic Command is annoying, Night Veil, Spectre, but even some, Teferi I could cast turn 4. I mean, it doesn't sound too impressive, but yeah, I think that if I want to go mono blue though, which I do, I'm gonna need more spells, so that's why I'm gonna take Frost Titan. So speaking of mono blue, alright, so let's hide some of this crap. Let's hide all this crap. Oh, it's all crap actually, so let's hide the non-blue crap, except for Dismember. Okay, so right now I have 22 blue, 22, I'll use the term playables. That's fair. Precursor Golem is pretty sweet with opposition. Yeah, it's pretty sweet with opposition. But I think I'm gonna go with the Conclave. I mean, it was sweet, just not sweet enough. Although I was looking at the real, if I repeal into the royal, it gets pretty cool with the Precursor Golem. So I'm gonna take into the royal. I mean, my other consideration here is the bounce land, which I mean, it would be a consideration if I didn't already have 2. And Dimir Aqueduct is just, in my deck, strictly better than the Growth Chamber because of Dismember and Night Veil Spectre. And All is Dust and Masticore. I don't really like Masticore too much. That one at least. Ah, jeez. This is a tough pick. So I know that anyone who just plays Standard or just started playing will slam Jace Architect of Thought because that card's so good. It's a Planeswalker, and yeah, no one cares. Okay, so basically, Moxes are very powerful. It's like cheating, more or less. So Jace is actually not even a consideration of mine at this point. I'm going to take Mox Diamond because it is better than Chrome Mox. So I'm just not sure if I'm taking Time Spiral yet, but probably. So I just want to talk about the Moxes a little bit. Chrome Mox is cool depending on your deck, but Mox Diamond is almost always going to be better. You'd rather discard a land than a spell, generally. And also you're discarding land, so you can, get it back with stuff like Life from Loam or Crucible. Right now I'm going to take Time Spiral. Basically because that card is absurdly powerful. Alright. So, let's see. I'm just counting stuff. So right now I'm going to actually be able to make some cuts. So, I mean, it's probably going to be like Into the Royal and Repeal. I'm not a fan of those. So, I guess I'm going to take Disc. I'm not going to play Cryptologist, and I'd rather not play against Disc. And that's so now that I have my deck, I'm just like, all right, what strategy do I want to use? Or what strategy do I not want to play against? So, Momentary Blink. Yeah, I mean, it's cool with Archmage, I guess, but it's just not good enough. So I'm going to take GP'd, hopefully make the mono red deck a little bit weaker. Do I want Hollowed Fountain? For Condemn and Disenchant. Am I going to play Tidings? Maybe I'll play Tidings. Drowned Catacomb. I guess I could play this. Yeah, I'll just take that and it'll make Dismember a little bit easier. And then Precursor Golem. So that's a cool late pick. Alright. And their card's not very good. Okay. I mean, it's fine. It's just, compare that to Baneslayer Angel. It's like, alright. That's one of the problems with the cube. There are all these cards that you're like, oh man, this card's awesome, and then you compare it to something that costs the exact same amount, and you're like, I was wrong. So I'm just gonna throw in everything that I know I want to play. I want to be the opposition deck. Ooh, timing out Cryptic Command. They can never attack again. That's pretty sweet. Let's see. I count Mox Diamond as a spell because, you know, if you... Chromox I count as a land because it acts like a land. You play it, you don't need a land in your hand. But with Mox Diamond, you know, you can't base your mulligan decision on Mox Diamond being a land. You know, if you have a one land Mox Diamond hand, that's a one land hand. Whereas if you have one land Chrome Mox, that's essentially a two land hand. Oh, my antivirus. I should update that. Don't give me any viruses, please. That would be not nice. So this is 23. And I'm not splashing anything right now. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Disc is... I have four artifacts that produce mana. I have opposition. I would rather not play Disc. I mean, it is a blue Wrath, but I also have a lot of guys. You know, if I was more what I started out wanting to be, you know, if I was like all counter spells and instant speed stuff, then sure, Disc is acceptable. I mean, it's cool with Aetherling, you know, I could blink it out, but that's any Wrath. Yeah, I just don't think that Disc is going to be good enough. It's going to do more harm than good. Oh, Dismember, I want that. Basically, I want that because I'm on a blue, so don't really have removal. Repeal and Into the Royal are, you know, cantripping bounce spells, but for what, 4 mana for Into the Royal? I just don't see how that's worth it. Okay, so anyway, I'm thinking if I actually have to make a cut. So basically, my line of thought right now is, do I need 16 land because I'm mono blue, or should I, you know, so basically one of the reasons you run a lot of land, like a higher proportion than normal in limited, is because you don't have the mana fixing required to ensure that you're going to hit every color every time. So if you're one color, really it's just about hitting your land drops. So I'm wondering, all right, can I get away with 16 land? I have Ponder, Remand, Impulse, Everflowing Chalice. So those are 4 2-mana options where it's like, all right, if I keep 2 land, I can probably get there. And by get there, I mean to 3 mana. So I also am going to play the Dimir Aqueduct, so that's like 2 lands, but I don't really want to think of it like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pick a card at random and cut it from my deck. No, that'd be silly. I want to make a cut. You know, it might actually be... I think it's Mystical Tutor. Yeah, Mystical Tutor, it can get me a counter spell. I guess it can get me a few different things. It can, you know, reload my hand with Time Spiral or Fact or Fiction, depending on what I'm doing. It can get me a counter spell or the win, you know, tap them down, kill them. It can get me a removal spell. It can get me card draw. I mean, Mystical Tutor for card draw is not where you want to be, but it's a thing. Let's see. Ooh, I could Metamorph Precursor Golem and then get blown out by something. Like, Metamorph Precursor Golem and get Searing Blazed. That'd be fun. Okay, so you know what? Let's. I don't know. That was silly. All right, Academy Ruins. So I would play Academy Ruins for Spellskite, Metamorph, Precursor Golem. I would not want to play it because I have Nightveil Spectre. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna play it. I mean, it's also really good against Brain Freeze if someone decided to be that stupid deck. Since I'm mono blue and I'm not doing anything early, I'm gonna definitely play both of those. I want to see how risky the Drowned Catacombs are. I'm going to play the Arcanes. Yeah, you know what? I guess I'm just going to splash black for Dismember. You know, it doesn't hurt me in terms of, you know, my mana consistency. It might hurt with a land coming into play tap when I don't want it to. You know, right now I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4 lands that come in tap, maybe 5. But that's fine. Even if I go 16 land, that's fine. I'm not going to play the white-blue bounce land or either of these slow fetches. You know, I have Ponder, so you do kind of want fetch lands with that, but I don't think that's enough to really put it over the top. You know, if I had something like Jace the Mind Sculptor or Brainstorm or Sensei's Divining Top, stuff like that, then sure, but or if these were actual fetch lands, but I don't want to use them in a deck like this. So, all right, do I make a cut or do I go with 16 land? Yeah, I'm just going to go with 16 land. It seems reasonable, but I don't want to. What a dilemma. Oh boy. How many swamps should I run? Moto, tell me. 2. Yeah, good idea. Not. See what I did there? I was like, it's a good idea. Not, because it was not a good idea. You could use that on your friends. Okay. So, I could cut Time Spiral. But if I cut Time Spiral, I probably want to cut Mystical Tutor. Just because at that point it's not really doing a lot. I could always run 41 cards. No. Alright, yeah, I'm just going to run 16 land. I mean, figure 16 land in a 40 card deck is the equivalent of 24 land in a normal constructed deck. So this deck played 24 land? No, probably not. Alright, yeah, I should definitely cut something. When you're trying to cast 6 drops on turn 6, you really, I guess you want Aetherling. Aetherling's basically a 7 drop. Yeah, I'm sorry this is taking so long. I am stumped. I want to be kind of aggressive. I guess I could Gilded Lotus, actually. That seems like the easy solution. I don't want to do that. I don't want to cut Gilded Lotus because then Time Spiral gets weaker. Basically, you want a Time Spiral and be able to cast a lot of stuff that turn. Alright. I can cut Time Spiral. And I can cut Gilded Lotus. And I'm going to add Repeal. And a land. And my land will be Karakas. Okay, so I'm adding Karakas because I don't want to just lose to an Emrakul. Also, you know, I do have Teferi, so it could do some cool tricks with him. But yeah, I'm just going to submit this, and I'll see you game 1.